In 1780, a caravan of settlers wove their way through this forest in what is now Barkhamsted. They were led by an elderly Native American man, James Chogum, and his wife, a white woman named Molly. This unlikely couple had endured hardship and a life on the run, but had somehow thrived. Despite being born the son of an enslaved man in Rhode Island, James had given himself freedom and married the woman he loved. It is believed James Chogum was born in 1730 in Block Island, part of the Rhode Island colony. It was a land where slavery and servitude thrived, and it was a time period when more was being done to crack down on the freedom of many. As early as 1675, Rhode Island was becoming increasingly strict. By the time James was born, the rights and movement of enslaved Native and African Americans had been severely restricted. There are existing records of a man named Samuel Chogum who had a son named James. Samuel had been ensnared in slavery, and his son was born into the same life. But James would not allow himself to live and die a captive. From there, James' trail goes cold, but he emerges into history again in 1732, when on an autumn day he makes his escape. He had been held in South Kingston, at the home of Elizabeth Cole. One night, he dons a beaver cap and a light gray coat, and the man, now in his mid-20s, takes flight. Mrs. Cole was quick to post her runaway notice in the Rhode Island Gazette, describing James as a Spanish Indian. James would spend a few years on the run, learning to make his way in the world as a fugitive, always with one eye looking back. He slowly made his way westward, leaving Rhode Island behind and entering Connecticut. Here, he would meet the woman he would love for the rest of his days.
Cross me now, and I will marry the man who first may seek my hand, whether white or any color.
It is believed that Molly Barber, a young woman from Wethersfield, grew up surrounded by suitors, yet none could match her independent spirit. A story passed down through the years suggests that she defied her father, vowing to marry the man she chose, regardless of his background. This man was James Chogum, a Narragansett Indian with a mysterious past. Whether fate or circumstance brought them together, the two soon forged a bond, one that would carry them through life's hardships. What we know of Molly is gleaned from an 1874 poem by Lewis Sprague Mills, titled The Legend of Barkhamsted Lighthouse, a tale from the Litchfield Hills of Connecticut. According to this account, Molly was strong-willed and rebelled against a controlling father who was seeking to marry her off.
Many came to win her hand, using all the wiles of suitors. With all the arts of their command, one alone met her approval. But of all the ardent suitors, seeking for her hand in marriage, one alone met her approval, found his eager courtship welcome, found his visits were encouraged. All the others were rejected. All the offers that they made her, all the flowers that they sent her, all the letters that they wrote her, all the poems that they brought her, all the presents that they gave her, all the riches that they spoke of, failed to win her smiling promise. With hopeful glance and gentle voice, kneeling then before her father, she asked his blessing on her choice, looking for a kindly answer. Then her father answered sternly, spake against her heart's selection, saying with a show of anger, "Choose a richer man, my daughter. Never shall you wed this fellow, born to toil and lowly labor. Let him find a slave his equal, here among the village wenches. Seek a richer man, my daughter, from the suitors that surround you." Secret was their quick departure, in the nighttime stealing westward. Molly, with her cloak about her, followed Chogum ever closely.
The legend is that Molly chose love and freedom over wealth, and fled with James Chogum, heading towards the northwest hills of Connecticut. The couple soon realized that their love came at a price. Molly's father sent men to track them down, determined to bring his daughter back. But James and Molly were clever. They took refuge in a Narragansett village, disguising themselves as villagers. For a time, they lived quietly, blending in with the community. Molly, who had grown up in the comforts of a settler's home, adapted to her new life in the wilderness, showing her true resilience. The couple evaded capture for years, and found success, even becoming landowners. Despite owning land and making a name for themselves, the couple still faced skepticism from the local settlers. James, the son of an enslaved man, and Molly, a white woman who had defied her family, continued to challenge the rigid norms of the time. Though they kept to themselves, their very existence was a statement, one that did not sit well with everyone. By the time James and Molly arrived in Barkhamsted, they were no longer young, but they carried with them a legacy that would last for generations. Here, in the shadow of Ragged Mountain, they built their home.
Bearing axes and equipment, hastened northward through the forest, ever near the Tunxus River, to the side of Ragged Mountain, in the town of Fair Barkhamsted, and beside the sparkling river, found a place for habitation. Builded there a lonely cabin, midst the trees beside the mountain. Built a cabin in the greenwoods, deep within the gloomy shadows. First of all, the early cabins, built within Barkhamsted borders.
Perhaps coming to Barkhamsted, a largely unsettled area, meant they could offer their children and grandchildren a life free from the judgmental eyes of others. This small community would eventually come to be known as the Lighthouse, but no beacon ever shone there. The name was likely a tongue-in-cheek reference from stagecoach drivers passing through the desolate forest at night. Seeing the light from the Chogum cabin, they joke, "There's the lighthouse. 5 more miles to New Hartford." But the true light of this community came from the generational wealth and stability James and Molly created. They passed down land to their children, a rare achievement for a family of mixed-race heritage at that time. For more than 60 years, their descendants thrived here, contributing to the life of Barkhamsted, going to school, working, and playing their part in town life. James and Molly's story matters because they carved out a space for themselves and their children in a world designed to leave them out. They were pioneers, not just of land, but of identity. Their legacy lives on in the roots they planted here, roots that stretched across generations, leaving a mark on this place and beyond.